Welcome to Ask a Traffic Cop, where answers will be served with a smile. We're here to keep you safe on the road, so stay a while. Got questions about traffic rules and need some advice? Just ask away and let us be your guiding light. Ooh, yeah. Ask a traffic cop, we're here to help you out. From stop signs to speed, and there's no doubt. If you're stuck in traffic or gotta park your roll, just ask a traffic cop and watch your worries go.
I'm having way too much fun with Suno.ai, making music and stuff. I am hoping that you had a great weekend. That would be wonderful if that were the case. And yeah, we got Monday happening here. New time change. It's kind of cool. Now I am. Tweep says, "Ooh, made it." We got lots of stuff to unpack this morning. I see that TikTok is having some issues. I'm not sure what's going on there, but it is slow to roll, and so is Instagram. Let's see if that's actually switched on and happening. We may be having technical difficulties, and no, it says it's streaming. We're just gonna pretend it's working properly and move on. What is happening in your life? It's a Monday. It's probably work. March break is happening. Yes, it is officially the 11th of March, and that means March break is on for most people and their kids. So people are looking for other ways to entertain themselves. Yeah, I know that my kids are not at school, which means that it is going to be a Loud House. And there's a TV show called Loud House with the Loud family. They might be watching that. Anyway, let's start with some hellos, and let's get into some Vision Zero, and then I'll talk to you about the conversation I had on TikTok. We'll start off with Kayla, who is first in the chat room with greetings and salutations, and he anticipated being late. Now, the message came in early, but who knows what will actually happen. I've got a Yogi Berra quote and a dad joke for later. I've got Stephen Bell with a good morning, Sean. Tim Shallow with good morning. Also included Sean. Woohoo made it. We covered Tweep already. Watchdog 5705 says, good morning. It's my first live show in a while due to work, so I'm pumped. Yes, welcome. Now, some of you may notice that this microphone, if you caught the video talking about microphones, this microphone is the other microphone. And so many people seem to like the sound. It's very, very 50-50-ish when evaluating which sound was better. So I figured I'd try the show out using this microphone, the microphone that I don't own and I borrowed from a friend. But anyway, just in case you noticed, I figured I'd just go right at it, talk about it. Jordan says, good morning, Sean. Leanne Marie says, LOL, yup. And I don't know if that was because, I don't know exactly what that comment was from, but good morning, Leanne, or Leanne Marie. Austin, who says, I have a question. What is this? I have a question. A monitor is allowed. Not sure what your question is, Austin. Maybe rephrase. We've got, hi, everyone. Now Leanne Marie is picking up what we're putting down. And are we allowed to ask questions? Yes, and you just did. So absolutely you can. Brando is trying to flex, saying that they have a tinted windshield. Catch me if you can. Good for you. We catch you when we do. Take your license plates, and you'll be walking home from there. I get the impression that you don't really want to be here, so don't feel obligated to hang out for the show. Okay, so Austin has a question about their modded exhaust. Ooh, we'll talk about that in a second. Let's see here. Crystal Rue says, good morning, Sean, from Twitch. We haven't heard from a lot of Twitch folks in a while. And let's see here. We got, but Tweep going back says, couldn't tell the difference between the two microphones. So we'll see if this makes a difference. Maybe we'll switch microphones halfway through. Definitely if Sergeant Campbell joins, because this will be the microphone that he uses because it's on this side. Anyway, moving along. We got Tracy with a good morning, everyone. Oh, we're including everybody. And Sean Smith with a good morning. And Brando still says, catch me if you can. You need a new hobby. Okay, let's see here. We got Okay, hang on a sec. We got questions here. I'm going to flag a bunch to be here. Brando's joking. Brando's clarified he's joking. Okay, I feel better now. Let's see here. Boom. What's the craziest thing? Okay. Let's a bunch of stuff that we've got flagged. Okay, let me get into some things that I've got to talk about before we move on, and that is Vision Zero enforcement team. It is one of those things I talk about at the beginning of every show, so I can press this button and it'll go on the screen, and then I'll say, yeah, Vision Zero enforcement team. They are a group of dedicated officers that, they try and change driver behavior one ticket at a time. Sometimes multiple tickets at a time, because there could be multiple violations. Sometimes it involves an arrest. Stunt driving can be an arrest. Dangerous driving, certainly an arrest. And they look for those things. They're looking for the folks who are choosing to speed, drive aggressively, drive distracted, drive impaired. They're the people who are choosing to, make the roads less safe. We know that serious injury and death occur as a result of these activities, and drivers choose to engage in them. That makes it their responsibility. And we like to hold people to their, or hold people accountable for their decisions. Anyway, today, where are they focusing their time? They're focusing their time in 31 Division and 55 Division. We're talking about neighborhoods like Black Creek, Humbermead, Downsview, Humber Summit, the Beaches, Riverdale, Danforth, East York. Neighborhoods where real people live, work, and play and deserve to be safe. It's a thing. We announce every morning where they're going to be on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. So if you're not following us there, go over to ASKaTrafficCop.TrafficCop.ca and you can join by following. And then we'll announce it 6, 7, 8 o'clock in the morning, depending on the platform, and you'll know where we are. Now, most people want to know because they want to know when we're in their neighborhoods making it safer, but I imagine some people are using it like a radar detector, where not to be. Well, the truth is we are everywhere, because Vision Zero is not simply, or the only enforcement done in the city is not simply Vision Zero enforcement team. Any police officer in the city of Toronto can issue a ticket, and they do. Now, let's get back into other stuff. Time change. How are you feeling after the time change? Do you feel like you lost an hour? Are you yawning uncontrollably? Is it one of those things that you prefer having the standard time? I don't know. I love having the little more hours of sunlight. I don't know why we switch back. I vote, if we're all paying attention, my vote is to stay daylight savings time forever. I don't know if we have a reason to go back, but yeah, I know that we have an increased number of collisions related to this time change. So if you're not feeling 100%, be really, really careful behind the wheel. You should be careful behind the wheel all the time. But if you're extra groggy because you haven't caught up that 1 hour, well, we get it. It's a thing. And many people experience it just like you. So be careful out there, pay attention, and remember that everybody else is tired too. So that's like sort of like adding on from all angles. It's more dangerous. All right. So Austin says that their car came with a modified exhaust and it was going to cost you $140,000 to fix it. That's a heck of an exhaust system. What kind of vehicle are you driving? Anyway, if it's a modified exhaust and it doesn't meet the regulation, expect tickets all over the place. And if you have a $140,000 exhaust, you should be able to afford fixing it, because the rest of the car must be much more. Anyway, let's see here. Kevin says, what does Kevin say? Kevin scrolled up. Here we go. Kevin Huynh says, I don't know if you remember me, but I always ask you G1 questions. Haha. I have another one coming. Can a G1 driver drive on the Allen Road? It's controlled expressway, but only 80 kilometers an hour. Yes, you can drive on the Allen Road. It's 400 series and speed limits above 80, but 80 kilometers an hour is perfectly legitimate place for you to be. So you are good to go as long as you are being supervised by a qualified G-class driver who has 4 years experience. Okay. Antonio wants to know how much you have to be over the posted speed limit for traffic cameras to send you a love letter home. I love that you call it a love letter. I think that really is the best way to refer to these things. They're reminders, the good human reminders sent by, they're sent with human oversight. So it's not just a computer sending you computer love. It's sending you computer love with someone signing off on it. Anyway, let's see here. What's the number? What do you think? I actually don't know, because they don't tell me. Plausible deniability. I actually have no idea how much it is. I know that it's not 1. It's possibly not even 5. But I know people have been getting tickets for 10 over, so I would assume it's a percentage over the posted speed limit. It changes depending on the jurisdiction. I don't have a specific number. The advice that I do give is that you shouldn't speed, and then you wouldn't worry about anything. Yeah. Okay. We got Jonah Mesa, who said, what's the craziest thing you've ever found in a vehicle search? Drugs. I haven't found anything really crazy. I mean, drugs is average. Nothing wild and crazy. I haven't found any hidden people or ghosts or goblins. I don't have anything exciting to share. But most of what I do in searching a vehicle is finding what kind of junk people leave behind when their car is being impounded after they've been arrested, or sadly, if they've been injured in a collision, then we have to do an inventory search. But the drugs that happen more than a lot. It's drugs. Okay. Liz says, yay for March break for us teachers and our students. Yes, teachers are out. We have to be extra careful for the teachers who might be crossing the road and not used to it. I kid, but no, seriously, there's a lot of people, a lot of pedestrians, a lot of younger people who would normally be in school and supervised who may be out and about enjoying life in the big city or anywhere. So please be careful. You should always be following the laws, but extra vigilant right now during March break. And expect the unexpected from our younger folk. You never know. Like a box of chocolates? Yeah. Ethan Smith. Why y'all mad about exhaust tip size even though it doesn't affect noise? Ethan, I had no idea that exhaust tip size was a thing. I don't compare mine to yours. I don't have an exhaust tip envy, but maybe there is a regulation. I've just never paid attention to it because it means nothing to me. Okay. Maybe in your jurisdiction. Where are you from? Maybe you said y'all, so I'm assuming not here. Let's see here. What is the charge for having a fake vanity plate? Failed to display 2 plates or confuse identity? It depends on what's going on. Here's the deal. You have to have an absolutely real plate. If you're failing to display it, well, there's failing to display. But you confuse identity is also an option. Is it criminality? Are you looking for some good stuff? You must display your actual plates. We have arrested people for things like, not displaying plates. Now, I say arrested. You get charged for the stuff, but they've been arrested because of the stunt driving or the dangerous driving that they're usually using the fake vanity plates on the road for. So, happy face. There we go. Quick question. Do we still have to renew license plates? This is something that is in the works, from my understanding. I don't think the change has occurred as of yet, but the deal is that where you had to renew for free for most vehicles, this will now be automatically perpetually done for you unless you are not eligible for renewal. Now, I don't know how this is going to work. I don't. It's something that the Premier has said was going to happen, but it has not happened yet. And when it does happen, I don't know if you're going to get a notice if you're not eligible to renew because you have unpaid fines or whatnot. It might be a situation where you get a notice. It might be a situation where you're obligated to monitor it yourself. All of these things and more will eventually be revealed. Stay following us so you can, get the update when we get the update, because we'll update you once we know something. We talk about it. We'll make a video. We'll talk about stuff. Mark Biggrass says, good morning, Sean. Good morning to you. We got Lucas, who says, good morning, kind sir. How are you? I'm doing well. I'm refreshed after the weekend. I actually went to bed relatively early, so I feel refreshed, and I'm not feeling the impacts of time change. I didn't really notice it at all. If you can't catch someone speeding, what is your next step? You mean if I try and pursue them to pull them over and they run away because they're cowards? Well, then I would taking the information that I have available, like their license plate and description, and chances are I'm going to their house to arrest them. That's probably what's going to happen. But it depends. Radioing around and letting other people know that I've attempted to stop someone and it became a pursuit, and chances are I did not continue that pursuit, so I abandoned the pursuit and then have to do a report for that, which all goes into the system. It's a fun thing. But yeah, those that run from the police are the most pathetic people there are. Let's see here. Question mark is the username. I got let off my stunt for speeding. I got let off of my stunt for speeding. Do I still have to go to court as my court date is 1 month? How do you assume you got let off? See, if you were charged with stunt driving, you have a court date. You have to attend that court date. If you haven't attended that court date, how did you get let off? I need to know more information, but chances are get some legal advice or speak to the courts. But don't just not show up, because you might find that you were convicted in your absence. They may even hold a trial in your absence. Do 0 points tickets affect your insurance? Yes, Hassan, they do, because insurance companies don't care about points. Points are what the Ministry of Transportation use to monitor your activity and determine whether or not your risk is so high that you need a nastygram, a letter telling you to be a better person, or simply to suspend you. May even send you for some education. But 0 points tickets absolutely do. John, good morning. Says good morning, everyone. Good morning to you. And what do we have here? Jasjot wants to know, what are the consequences if you're riding a dirt bike on the street? Dirt bike being a motorcycle, an off-road only motorcycle, one that's not licensed and insured for the road. You're driving a motor vehicle on the road without insurance or registration, or chances are license. So just the insurance charge alone, drive motor vehicle, no insurance on the highway, you're looking at $5,000 to $25,000 in fines, and then you're looking at up to 6 months in jail. The court can choose to give you the fine and jail, or one or the other. That's up to them. Is that usually how it goes? It's up to the court. I don't think jail is a regular thing, though. Brando says, I appreciate everything you do. Sorry, Monday isn't the time for jokes. Be safe out there. I've just been seeing so much negativity. I just assume that it's the runaway people. Yeah, Monday's definitely not the joke time, but I appreciate the joke, and I'm glad you clarified. Let's see here. Deruzin says that to Hassan about the driving on the road with a dirt bike is a minor offense. Not minor at all, my friend. No, it's not minor. $5,000 to $25,000 is quite major, and I would totally charge that rider for the full ticket price. Now, the price is determined by court. It has nothing to, how much you get convicted for is up to the courts. Chances are it'll be a couple of grand. But if you're a repeat offender, expect it to be higher. Okay. If you are pulled out to make a left turn at what is this? If you are pulled out to make a left at an intersection and the light goes orange, is it a red light? Well, so far you've suggested there is no red light. There's an orange light and a green light. The red light hasn't happened yet in your scenario. So if you are pulled into the intersection, you've entered on the green, you are obligated to make a left turn and complete your turn. Or if you're going straight through, you're obligated to exit the intersection on the red. Now, if you can't go anywhere because the roads are all blocked up, you're blocking the box. That's a different ticket. But you're not getting a red light ticket, and a red light camera ticket doesn't get issued unless you enter on a red light. Even a yellow light won't get a red light camera. That said, if you enter on a yellow light and you should have stopped, a police officer can absolutely issue a ticket because yellow means stop unless it's unsafe to do so. People get that one wrong a lot. If you've never watched the show, this thing on the internet that you're currently engaged in, it's called Ask a Traffic Cop. We go live most weekdays from 10 to 11, and we talk about traffic safety, traffic law, and police stuff whenever we're here. I talk about it all the time, even when I'm home. My kids know more about the Highway Traffic Act than most drivers do. And you can too, because we do this all the time. Feel free to ask questions. Engage with us. That's what we're here for. Oh, hey, Instagram decided to wake up. I hit go. It's such an annoying thing. Instagram waits until the feed actually activates, and then I press send. So they're late to the party. Hi, Instagram. We started without you. But that's okay. I don't know if anybody watches. Do people watch Instagram still? Okay. What do we have here? Siamak Amiri 982 has a question. And before I scrolled off into Instagram world, follow us if you don't follow us. Share us if you have never done that. It's a feel good thing. You'll feel better after you share us with your friends. We want to get good information to as many people as possible. That's our mission. It's got nothing to do with income, because we don't get paid by social media. Someone responded to a video I put up yesterday saying, "Do you get paid from TikTok?" And I said, "No." They said, "Well, why are you posting on a Sunday?" And I get what they were saying. You're off duty. Why are you bothering with work? I'm off duty most of the time when I'm answering a lot of the questions that are posted into the comments. I answer because I want to give you good answers. I want you to know this stuff because it's probably timely. You need to know stuff. So I do my best to answer regardless of whether or not I'm working, and that's just how I roll. Okay. This is the question. Let's say you pull over a car of any traffic offense and realize they have a gun. Okay. That's going to be a bad day at the office. It's just what it is. It's going to be an arrest. I don't know what you were looking for in terms of answers there. Let's see here. Oh, Brando says, so in response to time change, Brando says, shift worker, so sunlight is good. I agree. I never get to see the sun, or very rarely. It's limited exposure. That's why I'm so heavily tanned. Let's see here. Oh, this is another time change comment. Nick says, I was studying at 1 a.m. and then it was suddenly 3. That's not fun. But then again, that happens whenever I'm working on any kind of project. Doesn't matter time change or not. I get so focused on what I'm doing. Like today, when I was working on a video about stopping distances, and I was going to record a take, and I looked up and it was 10 minutes to the show. So I had some pre-show stuff that I had to do, and yeah. Oh. Unsolved Mystery wants to know if we use the Spectre radar detectors in our police cars. Wouldn't you like to know? I don't know why people think it's such a big deal to identify. It's not hard to find out whether or not someone is using a radar detector. First of all, you have to know that we don't use a lot of radar anymore. Radar is what we use inside of our vehicles, our moving radar systems, but 99% of the time we're using LiDAR, which is laser, not radar. What do we have here? Boom, boom, boom. Oh, a reminder to please use the letter Q to mark your questions as opposed to comments and, conversation. And here's one using that Q right now. Is anti-glare legal on the windshield? Tint is not permitted on the windshield. If it's a transparent coating that prevents tint or stone chips or whatever, prevents glare or stone chips, as long as it's not tint, you're not obscuring the interior, you're not reducing the ability for you to see through the windshield. There is no issue with that I'm aware of. Okay. Steve Nielsen, okay. I guess when cops stop breaking the law, they'll be setting a good example and won't be practicing the do as I say, not as I do, as they are so fond of. Steve, I don't know in particular what you're complaining about. I don't think you usually complain this much, but police are allowed to exceed the posted speed limit. They're allowed to use their cell phones. They're allowed to break parking rules and things like that, all in the lawful execution of their duties. So is there a particular law that you have a problem with? Because what you should do is if you have complaints, complain, but do it properly. Like this social media stuff is not helpful. Go file a complaint and they'll investigate it. And if it was justified, and they'll be held accountable. If they're justified, they're okay. And if it was your complaint is justified in that they were actually breaking rules they weren't allowed to, then they'll be held accountable either way. So, yeah. Okay. We got Carl who says, good morning, Sean, and good morning, Carl. Let's see here. Don't know what, Jerusalem's got a lot of comments. Let's see here. Oh, Liz says, thankfully, the time change happened at the start of March break, so teachers and their students will have 1 week to get used to it. Yes, it's good from the perspective of getting used to going to school and their routine, bad for the fact that there's a lot of people out on the roads, and they might, unfortunately, come into someone who is tired and causes collision because they're out doing stuff. So the risk is still there. Let's see here. Have you ever gotten a speeding ticket, and do you think the speed camera system isn't fair? Isn't fair, I should say. So the thoughtful monkey, is it monk or monkey? I don't know sometimes the acronyms and usernames are, yeah, I don't know. I guess one way could be the other. Either way, I appreciate your question. So I have had a speeding ticket. I had a number of speeding tickets. It was two of them, I think, when I was a kid. About 15 over, something in that range. I mean, it's a lifetime ago, so I don't really remember the details, but I think it was about 15 over. Anyway, I did it. I was responsible. I paid them. It's amazing how that works. And I didn't get more because I changed my driving behavior. Now, if it comes to red light cameras, I've never received one of those. I thought I was going to, though. I drove through an area that I thought was 50, had been reduced to 40, and I was still doing 50. I did not get a ticket. but I also had a heart attack when I realized I was speeding. So not a real heart attack, just, oops. And then I waited in the mail and never got a ticket. But what can I say? Is the speed camera system fair? Yes. If you don't speed, you won't get a ticket, and that is fair. And if you do speed, you're breaking the law and you deserve a ticket, which is fair. In fact, that's so fair that they give you leeway. It's not 1 kilometer over when they give you the ticket. It's more, the percentage of which I do not know. Nick is in Regina, Saskatchewan. If you got over If you got over 150 over the speed limit, camera does not go off. Really? They still go off in Toronto. We still ticket for that. In fact, if it's over 50 over, you get a summons instead of just a ticket in the mail. Carl slows down around photo radar cameras, which is a good move because they will give you tickets. But you should slow down all the time, like not speeding. Good morning, Emma. Emma says good morning, and I say good morning back because that's how good mornings work. I entertain myself with funny things I say that only I find funny. Just the way it is. Kevin Johnston suggesting that there are policies that are racist. And Kevin, you're incorrect. There is no such policy. But your statement suggests that you have some beliefs, and I don't understand where you're at. The Bean says, sir, is the 5 mile per hour bubble real? Well, seeing that you are saying that you are using mile per hour to explain the question or ask the question, I would suggest you're in the States, maybe. But in Canada, we use kilometers, and I don't know what that bubble is. Are you suggesting that you're safe if you go 5 miles over the speed limit? You're not necessarily safe here because if you were doing 5 over in a residential area, you might be getting pulled over. And if you're doing 5 over on a highway, you're probably not getting pulled over because there's so many people doing 10, 20, 30, 40 over the limit. Okay. I don't understand why drivers like to break the laws. I don't either. And this is where I had an interesting conversation over the weekend. You see, folks were talking about the fact that they have places to go, and that's why they speed. Okay. They were justifying or trying to justify 20 kilometers over the posted speed limit, which in a sustained drive would save approximately 12 minutes an hour. At 100 kilometers an hour, doing 20 over, I should say, would save 12 minutes an hour. Okay. So leave 12 minutes earlier and you don't need to speed. And then you don't lose your stopping distance and you're safer. Less likely of getting into a collision because you got better stopping distance. Reaction time is better. Lots of reasons. No tickets if you're doing the speed limit. So really 12 minutes is the reason that people speed because they can't organize their lives around that 12 minutes? That's kind of sad, actually. But what gets sadder is this. That's for a full hour, or at least for a full 100 kilometers distance that you save the 12 minutes. But the deal is that 100 kilometers traveled, so 12 minutes. Yeah, you save 12 minutes over the 100 kilometers. But the average person isn't doing 100 kilometers sustained. They're doing pockets of speed, which means that it is so negligible. It's simply not worth it. I was driving north yesterday on Weston Road in Toronto, and I was driving beside a Lexus. It was a Lexus with dealer plates, totally tinted out. I was so tempted to roll down the window and ask how much the illegally tinted vehicle was, but I didn't. It had gold rims and trim, and if you're that dealer, I saw you. Every time we were at a red light, and there were many of them, that driver accelerated like crazy and drove faster than the posted speed limit. I know this because I was doing the posted speed limit. And they ended up way ahead of me. And then they waited for me at the red light. And then they went really, really quick again. And I met them at the next red light. What I'm trying to get at here is it's stupid to drive quickly only to slow down. And people say, well, it's fun. It's okay. It's not smart. It's not economical when it comes to fuel. It's not good for using up your brakes and just wear and tear in your car. But it's also not safe, which I should have said first because that's the most important one. Moving along. What is this? Is there a rule in which right turners can turn right based on the number of lanes are full? What? What? I'm not picking up what you're putting down, my friend. What are you asking me? Are you saying that I have no idea what you're asking me? No, you got to have to rephrase that. If somebody else knows what they're putting down, I'm not picking it up. Try again. There are a lot of people that brake check other drivers. Is this considered stunting? Yes. Brake checking. So applying your brakes for an emergency required event is absolutely. Let me back up again. Braking for a legitimate reason is braking. Braking for the purposes of simply screwing with somebody else is not braking for a legitimate reason. It is stunt driving or criminal dangerous driving, depending on what's being seen. But absolutely, it's against the law. I had to think about that. I started talking, the brain disconnected. Can you make a U-turn where a left turn is not allowed? No, because the first part of a U-turn is a left turn. So if you are making a left turn where a U-turn, or you're making a U-turn where a left turn is prohibited, you're making a left turn, and the offense is taking place when you initiate, not even when you complete. So no, you can't make a U-turn there. Now, 150 meters beyond the sign that says no left turn, 150 meters before that sign, as long as it's safe to do so, as long as there's no other sign, then you'd be okay. But U-turns are dangerous. I don't know why people are so interested in doing that. Go around the block. How much is 5 minutes of your life worth if you're going to get a ticket or cause a collision? Don't do it. Let's see here. Good morning from Key West. Sorry I'm late. Brandon's in Key West, Florida. I assume you're in Florida. It must be nice. And if you missed the snowstorm yesterday, then you're lucky that you're in Key West. Yes, let's have an amazing day. Okay. Kevin Johnston wants to know, do Toronto police cars have automatic plate readers? If so, what percentage of the cars have it? They're all going to have it. They'll all have it. Let's see here. Oh, Miranda wants to know what happens, I guess, when you accidentally enter the wrong kilometers for my husband's plate renewal. Does it make a difference? Well, you're making a declaration. I don't know how far off you were. If it was significant, tell them you made a mistake. Correct it. It's better than going in. Well, I don't know what the implications are, but if you're interested in being absolutely honest, which I think is a good thing, tell them you made a boo-boo, and they'll tell you whether it's a big deal or not. I don't know what they're going to do if they're going to come check the car. Probably not. I believe it's more or less for when you sell the car. They're going to look to see what the kilometers are in case someone's rolling them back, but I don't exactly know what they do with that data. It's not something that gets shared with me anyway. Okay. Question from Tweep. Why do officers make people do field sobriety tests when they're obviously drunk, admit that they're drunk? Why not just take them to use a breathalyzer? I've heard you have to watch them for 10 minutes. No. If I see someone who's obviously drunk, they're getting charged for impaired driving. I'm making a demand. I'm going to read them a demand. I'm arresting them for impaired operation, and then I'm going to make a demand for them to come in for a breath test at the station with a qualified breath technician. If they're obviously drunk, I am not going to do a roadside sobriety test. I am not going to do a roadside screening test, because those things are just so I can develop the grounds to arrest them for impaired operation. If I have the grounds based on what you've described, I'm just going to arrest them. There's no 10 minutes of watching them. I just need to form the grounds. Somebody else may take more time to form the grounds than I do. And then they might want to watch them for a few minutes or have further interactions. But everyone's going to be different. Everyone has different experience. Crystal J says, we have people that do rolling stops or just go through the stop sign. We have had parking enforcement. I assume that's parking enforcement do that. I'm assuming that's what you're saying. Yeah, rolling stops are not stops. So whether you roll the stop, you're rolling, or if you just drive through at speed, it's a stop sign offense. Let police know. Like in Toronto, you can go online and report an issue, a neighborhood driving complaint, something you are seeing and you want resolved. A traffic complaints officer to come by and stake it out. They can do that. Put in the reports, for instance, tps.ca tps.ca, and then you can make reports online for Toronto. Every jurisdiction is going to be different. York Regional Police has a portal like that too. I'm assuming all police services do, but I don't know that for certain. What do we have here? Chris wants to know, is that a kitten? That's Hello Kitty? I have kids. That's why I know it's Hello Kitty. Are all red light camera ticket fees different prices depending on the area? So the speed for red light cameras and speed cameras are the same. They're just doubled. Like they're the same as they would be in any jurisdiction, but they're doubled because, red light cameras may not be doubled. That might be the regular price. I think. Is it $325? I think red light cameras are the same, and the automated speed enforcement, because those are in community safety zones, are doubled. That's it. So community safety zones, no demerit points for any of these because they're automated, but the speeding ones are doubled. But the red light camera ones, I do not think they are. Okay. And hey, there you go. Second question for Chris. What's the difference in ticket fees when speeding in a school zone? They're doubled. See? You pulled me over and I got found completely wrong in court. Why is that? That's from Kiki Girl. I pulled you over? Are you sure it was me? When was it? Because it's been a while since I've pulled anybody over. And got completely found in. I was found wrong or you were found guilty? You need to rephrase that, Kiki. I don't know what you're talking about. But let's talk about it. Hey, if you're watching, my name is Sean Shapiro. I'm a police officer with the Toronto Police Service. I don't think I pulled Kiki over, but I do go live on social media answering traffic and police questions most weekdays from 10 to 11 Eastern Time. If you want to ask questions, that's what I'm here for. If you don't get them in today, because there's about 19 minutes left in this one, I'm going to try and keep it as close to 11 o'clock to end the show as possible, then come back tomorrow because we're going to do it all again at 10. Now, feel free to also reach out by way of the portal. There's a form at TrafficCop.ca. You can send me a message there. You can send a DM. I'm about 150 DMs behind right now on TikTok alone, but I do work daily towards answering all the questions. It's the sergeant, the good sergeant. And as promised, I'm going to switch over to a different microphone. I was testing to see which is better.
And do we have a result?
A consensus. There is no result, no confirmation yet. But do I play this song again? I played this one at the beginning of the show, and this is trying a different. Did you hear any of the AI constructed songs that I had created?
I did.
This is one you didn't hear because I did it on. I get new credits every day, so I have to do a good sergeant song. But in the meantime, this is the song that I heard this morning. Wait, did I? Here we go.
Welcome to ASKaTrafficCop, where answers will be served with a smile. We're here to keep you safe on the road, so stay a while. Got questions about traffic rules and need some advice? Just ask away and let us be your guiding light.
I'll stop it there, but it's not bad.
Not bad. Maybe not my genre.
No, but I'm trying to try different styles. I had country last week. I had, trying different stuff.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Well, I thought I'd jump in for you for a little bit. We have some work piling up.
Yeah, I bet we do.
So we've had an unfortunate event this morning that happened that we may have to be engaged in.
Yes, there was a fatal collision.
There was, unfortunately. Yeah. So we have some work to do with that one, and I thought I would keep you from
going late. Well, I already announced to everyone that I was not going to go late today, so it's perfect timing. See, now in terms of fatal collisions, it's one of the reasons I was saying that we can't have higher speed limits. Someone was asking me offline why we have lower speed limits than, let's say, Germany with the Autobahn, and they allege that Germany has fewer collisions, fewer fatalities than we do in North America. And it's my understanding that it's much, much more difficult and involved to get a European driver's license. So that's one. They have higher standards than we do here. But I think that if we want to get faster, we got to work on being safer first. So as soon as we stop hurting people on the road, we can revisit this topic. But until then, I think we're pretty good where we are.
And I have a feeling this collision that occurred today might have actually involved some speed involved as well.
Yeah, so that's usually the factor.
Anything that causes more of an impact, that causes your braking distance and maneuvering distance to increase, creates a risk, and speed does that.
Yeah, I was talking or talking to someone again online, and we were discussing stopping distance. I started looking into stopping distance calculators, and then that turned into a whole bunch of conversation about how much every kilometer over or different changes, and it's not 5 kilometers faster means 5 feet more. It's exponential increases in stopping distance.
Yeah, absolutely it does. It takes more to slow a vehicle down at a higher rate of speed to drop it 10 kilometers an hour traveling at 120 compared to dropping at 10 kilometers an hour when it's traveling at 30. So that's the exponential increase in stopping distance, which you see there. It all has to do with physics and the ability for tires to interact with the roadway and all things, to do with science.
Science and physics and stuff and things.
And it's proven. So that is why the government right now has decided that they're trying it out on certain highways to increase the speed, and certain municipalities are actually dropping speeds down.
Well, that's right, because we went from most places that were 60 became 50, 50 became 40, 40 became 30, and there we are. We're going much slower. But highways haven't been increased for the most part because it doesn't make sense to increase them.
Right.
Now, I saw a question here. They're starting to pile up. Is it legal or illegal for tractor trailers to drive in the passing lane, far left lane? We looked that up, and where I grew up thinking it was always the left lane. And someone told me, it's only if there's a sign present. But according to the HTA, it's actually the left 2 lanes.
I didn't realize that.
Neither did I.
Now, also, to be in conjunction with that, not only is the law saying it, but our older highways with older bridges going over the top, there is a height difference when it gets closer to the center support post in the highway. So they may not be able to travel in the far left lane anyways due to, physics.
They have to get under. There's a lot of those. I love watching those videos where they open the top of a truck by can opener styles and just peel them back.
Yeah. So originally, probably back in the 70s, as trucks got a little bit higher and we went with a full 53-foot length of trailers, that was a concern, and that's why it's signed vehicles over a certain height not to travel in that lane. But as you said, the Highway Traffic Act states that they shouldn't be there anyways. They're allowed to move to the center lane, I believe, for passing only and move back in.
That makes sense. And if they had to go through a bridge that only had that highest point was there, it would make sense. And it would be justifiable.
Absolutely.
If they went there. Kevin wants to know, if a cop saw me as a G1 drive like a couple of centimeters on the side of a public road so that I would be closer to the car parked in front, what?
So, yes. Absolutely. If you drive a vehicle without an accompanying driver, even move it a couple of centimeters, absolutely, you're driving.
I'm just trying to figure out why anyone would do any of this. So if the driver, the supervising driver, is not inside the vehicle with you,
Yep.
yeah, you're just moving the car? Oh, I see. But if you're parked in a private parking lot, it's not an issue. But if you're on a public road, which you said that you are, you could get the ticket and it would be justified in giving it to you.
It doesn't matter whether you're operating the vehicle a couple of centimeters or a couple of kilometers, you're operating the vehicle.
How often do you enforce yield at a 4-way? Not a complete stop. Yield, so that's the new terminology apparently for rolling stops. It's yielding.
Really?
It's running a red light. Running a stop sign, and I would charge it like anything else.
Yeah. It's not stoptional.
Yes, although the ones in the parking lots apparently are, because most people realize that they're not enforceable, even though they're a really good idea.
Well, it depends. It actually depends. If you're in a TTC or a GO Transit or a government provincial park, federal park, they have their own act that deals with driving, and you could actually get a ticket for going through the stop sign.
Yes, on TTC and Metrolinx. Yeah.
TTC, Metrolinx.
Anywhere else?
Provincial parks.
Oh yeah, but that's not the same as the private property now. It's private-ish.
Private-ish, but it's still it's not a real road, but that's why they have their own act to deal with issues that are happening on their.
At the end of the day, stop signs are a good idea.
You know what? They're a great suggestion because they work.
Calvin says, got to talk about your channel and my police foundations course. Keep it up. Thank you very much. We will. And by all means, reach out and let us know where you're taking your police foundations course. I'd love to know. Katie wants to know if a ticket could affect your insurance.
I'm going to say, oh, yes.
any ticket, any conviction, doesn't matter if it's leaving your wallet at home and being unable to surrender your license upon demand as you're required to, that is a minor charge, but a lot of minors suggest you can't follow the rules and they will increase your insurance rates.
And I became aware that insurance companies will do a check on your driver's license every year, or they will pay a certain fee to get notified when a conviction is registered against your driver's license. And that way they know right away that they're going to be increasing your insurance rates. My son, unfortunately, a couple of years ago, not driving the smartest as he could, got a ticket for disobeying a sign. And his insurance went up 17% just from one disobeying a sign ticket.
Not fun.
Nope.
Does Toronto Police ever go international to work and learn techniques of other police services around the world? Well, we have peacekeepers. We have those that go on the international missions and teach other police services. They did that in Ukraine a number of years ago. They've done that in all sorts of Haiti. Yeah. Where else? We have officers. Yeah, we have officers that work internationally. So.
We also have some of our police leaders go down to the FBI Academy to learn there. We have. I'm trying to think if we have officers.
Someone just went to Dubai and to do some stuff there.
Wow.
And they've been back twice, so there'd be more stuff. Yeah. So international actually happens, and police officers come here all the time. Cuppy444 says, why is tint banned when data in the States shows no discernible difference in police officer safety? I have no idea how anyone would say that there is no discernible difference in police officer safety if you can't see inside. That makes absolutely no sense, but I don't know the report that you're reading. That said, there is actual real deal safety issues when it comes to pedestrian safety, other drivers. People need to see inside that car to make the nonverbal communication, looking at other people, but we also need to be able to do it for enforcement purposes. We need to see if you're wearing your seatbelt, using your cell phone when you're driving, drinking alcohol, describing or identifying you, not to say it's Bob Jones. I mean, to be able to say it's a driver wearing a red shirt and a baseball cap who matches the description of a person we're looking for. It doesn't necessarily have to be absolute descriptions, but we have to be able to see inside for those reasons.
And you know what? You've got there that tint is banned, and it isn't banned other than on your front windshield.
Right.
And that one is like a no-brainer. There's a reason why it's banned on your front windshield, because you got to see.
Seeing is believing? No, seeing is seeing.
Yes. So it's not banned on your side windows, but a certain percentage could get you a ticket. And the reason for that is so you can see and we can see you.
Yeah, it's both ways. You can get a ticket for obscuring the interior of your vehicle. You can get a ticket for obscuring your view as a driver. So the windows left and right of the driver and the windshield are the ones regulated. Aaron says, Sean, I officially applied to be a police officer for my local department. Congratulations, Aaron. Good luck on your process. If you got questions, feel free to reach out, but talk to your recruiters. They're a really great resource. They want you to pass. Why is it against the law to have a radar detector? It's against the law because they said it is, but ultimately it's because those devices help people break the law. They allow you to drive any which way you want, assuming you're not going to get detected because you're going to change your behavior temporarily once you are detecting a detector is in play. So we are a measurement device, not a radar. So once a radar device is in play to measure your speed, so people slow down temporarily and then speed up again and continue to act like clowns and put lives at risk.
Yep, and it's kind of like what they do with photo radar right now. For the speed radar, they have signs saying it's there. Everybody slows down. Everybody goes past it, and everybody speeds up.
Well, not everybody, because a whole bunch of people get tickets. But certainly, yeah, those that are actively trying to avoid detection are avoiding it. But they're often speeding, and then maybe we would be saving more lives, or maybe we are saving more lives because they're not allowed, because we're changing behavior. But the goal is to catch people who speed, so they get that not so nice feeling of having a ticket, and then change it going forward.
Right, because the ultimate goal is just to save people and save lives.
Now, Dr. Rixie says, what if I have eye problems from the sun? Sunglasses. You can't tint your windows beyond, there's no medical exemption in Ontario, even though some states and provinces might allow it. We don't, because you can wear sunglasses. And yes, it does restrict your ability to see. And maybe you need it and maybe you don't, but you can take them off again. A tinted window you cannot change. And driving, people say, well, I'll just roll down the windows. No.
Not in Canada, you don't.
No.
Not when it's raining.
Not right now, not when it's cold. Can a person with a peace bond still be a police? So convictions, if you have convictions, criminal convictions, is a peace bond considered a conviction?
So
It's a disposition.
So a 510 peace bond is a probation put in place so that you can carry out a period of time where you're not re-engaging in that activity that got you in trouble. So at the end of your peace bond, no conviction would have been registered. If you cannot get to the end of your
Fulfill your obligation.
peace bond period, then the charge is reinstated again. So yes, you have to wait until your peace bond has expired and then apply.
Billet says, when police sees racing vehicles, do they use those vehicles as police cars? Wouldn't that be fun? They have a Lamborghini, or the Broward County Sheriff's Office had a Lambo. I think it was proceeds of crime, not racing, but police services in the States certainly do it. We don't do it.
We don't do it, no. Proceeds of crime vehicles go back to, I guess it's the federal government.
I don't know. I think we should crush cars. Squish them flat.
And let nobody use it?
Yeah. Well, maybe if we got to play with it, it would be fun, but it's just more vehicles to have to do maintenance on. No, the ones that get seized and sold off, maybe the money that's raised from them can go to a good cause. Maybe that's the way to do it.
But when we seize vehicles for racing, so stunt driving, if you're talking about that, it's just a provincial type of charge, and it's seized for a certain period of time. It's 14 days for stunt driving, so that you're not able to continue with that offense for 14 days. Maybe give you some sober thought about why you were doing what you were doing, and maybe not repeating it again when you go to get your vehicle back.
Yeah. Nick says that police are just over-glorified bill collectors. Look at the history. I don't know what history you're looking at in particular. We're educators, we're motivators, we're leaders in the community, but we are trying to get people to do the right thing, not the wrong thing, which comes to where we actually give people a ticket or, how you've said, a bill. But that is because the alternative is put you in jail, and I think people would rather pay a fine to correct their behavior than to go and spend time in the clink.
And you know what? Quite honestly, we wouldn't be doing what we're doing right now, talking to you about it. If our whole goal was to collect the taxes through issuing tickets, then we wouldn't tell you about it. We would just be out there doing it.
And we'd be doing it real sneaky like. No, we're telling you that you need to follow the rules, and you should know what the rules are, which is, again, why we're explaining them here online. And if you can't follow the rules, then you shouldn't have the privilege of driving, because it is a privilege. But we would happily find other things to do if you weren't breaking the law. So, yeah, this is all, it's like you're choosing to donate money to the system when you choose to break the law. Notice I'm focusing on choose, because no one's making you do it. Just saying. Now let's see here. We have a Yogi Berra quote. It gets late early out there. Out here.
No.
I'm not feeling it. But as Akela says, because I said, I don't get a lot of the Yogi Berra quotes, and he says, newsflash, I don't get a lot of them either. But he has a dad joke to go with that one, and it is, what does Akela do when he doesn't have time to type in a dad joke? He says, go read my last email and pick the one you like. He sent me an email with dozens of dad jokes, which I did not open and have ready for the show. So there you go.
Well, we'll have to do that. But maybe not today.
No.
Because we're busy.
Yes. And with that, I will say goodbye to you all. I wish we had time to go and continue into the...
There was one there I just wanted to answer.
Which one?
It's about the four-wheeler with the G1 driver's license. You know what? That's one I know. Your G1 is not enough of a driver's license to operate your four-wheeler on the road, on certain roads where they're allowed. You must have a G2, M2, or higher to be able to operate. And
because you've picked one extra, I have to pick one extra.
Okay.
Can we a tinted plate, because I bought one from Canadian Tire and I'm thinking of putting it on my car? No. But it does get into a whole conversation about why are they available for sale from Canadian Tire when they are not permitted to be used on the road anywhere in the province of Ontario on the road. So you can buy it and put it on as a show car in your garage, but the moment you roll on the road with it, you've broken the law.
And quite often those plate covers have that listed right down at the bottom, really, really small.
Not for on-road use.
Maybe not for road use, or for show use only, or for things like that. That's a clue that it may or may not be legal where you're going to operate it. Why Canadian Tire or anybody else sells tinted license plate covers?
Or even clear ones. They're not legal either.
Well, they're not, but tinted ones are just an outright, I want to hide my plate. It has nothing to do with aesthetics.
But they look so cool.
No, they don't.
I don't think they look cool.
No, they don't.
Yeah.
No, you know what? If you want to tint your have a tinted plate cover on, just take your plates off, and
No.
we would be able to catch you so much easier.
Well, it's the same deal. Whether you're covering your plates it's just don't go there, because it's $110 you don't need to pay, and you don't need to waste your time with the interaction of us telling you it's not legal. But some people think that it's so important to look that way, or because they want to avoid detection. And some of them are to avoid cameras. You do that on the 407, you're getting 2 tickets, one for the license plate cover, one for avoiding tolls. So things that you don't need to make your life miserable with. Yeah.
And that's it.
And that's it. We are saying goodbye again. But we'll be back tomorrow. So have a great day. Drive safe, drive sober, park legally, and smile, because despite what your friends say about you, it looks good on you.
And enjoy having the kids home this week.
Or not. But
Or
be
not.
careful out there, because as we talked about it at the beginning of the show, people are out there, they're doing different things. It's not your regular routine. Because they're out of school, means there's more people on the road either having fun or getting places. So please be careful. You're operating on less sleep because of the time change. Your rhythm is off, and we see an increase in collisions during this time. So be careful out there. And that's
Okay,
it. I'm going to play the intro music as an outro, because I played the other one earlier.
All right.
So we just do it backwards. I could have
Okay.
pressed the other song, but I didn't.
That happens.
See you tomorrow, everybody.
All right.